All right, we just got another Buff Diver announcement bringing back a more recent weapon that the players loved at launch, and then, in a tale as old as time, Arrowhead stepped in and it was crushed. But it's back, or at least it will be, on September the 17th. Welcome to the channel. This is 𝙏𝙃𝘼𝙏, and it looks like I'm going to be busy bringing you the latest Helldivers news straight through this weekend as Arrowhead uncorked yet another Buff Diver video. We've also got a new major order with decisions to be made, and there are already some issues popping up with this one as well. And of course, we've got your top 3 comments coming towards the end of this one. I mean, it's Saturday, so I'm going to try to keep it as short and sweet as possible, but just in case you are new here, take a moment to hit subscribe. It's free, and it really helps out the channel get noticed within the YouTube algorithms. And while you're at it, ring that notifications bell so you never miss one of my future upload alerts. And it's time to bring on the shrapnel, bit of a spoiler there for you, as we check out all the latest with Helldivers. Okay, very quickly before we dive into all the latest Buff Diver news uncorked by Arrowhead, I wanted to loop back to yesterday's video concerning enemy behavior changes, specifically to the Rocket Devastators and to the gunships, and even more specifically to their explosion damage on their rockets. I mischaracterized that, I misread it, and I portrayed that incorrectly. It is not an 80% reduction to the explosion damage, it's an 80% reduction to the explosive range, the splash damage, the AoE. So my bad, and I'm so blessed to have so many great viewers out there that are in the know, that are able to read these things through. They're able to analyze them and then come in with corrections. So you guys and gals out there, let me know in the comment section, Buzz, that is incorrect. It is not an 80% reduction to the damage itself. It's an 80% reduction to the AoE or the explosive range. So thank you so much for that, and with that, let's move on to the latest. And of course, just moments after I posted yesterday's Helldivers video explaining the latest Buff Diver announcement that we got yesterday concerning the Rocket Devs and of course the gunships, the latest major order dropped and I was just sunk. But here is that dispatch that accompanies that. It says, raw terminated population levels are at unstable levels and are threatening to reach exponentially explosive rates of reproduction. In order to reduce the population most effectively, listen to this next part, we will target specific medium-sized specimens that form the backbone of terminated hives. Very important point they made there. Specific medium-sized specimens. That's going to cause us problems. While this remains our operational focus, a window of opportunity has once again arisen to augment our forces with the orbital napalm barrage. So here's the fork in the road. The automaton-controlled planets Tarsh and Mastia both contain significant manufactories producing polystyrene foam, an important precursor to napalm. Interesting use of manufactories there. But anyway, if both planets are liberated within the duration of this order, it will be possible to immediately deploy the orbital napalm barrage fleet-wide acquisition. While augmentation of our weaponry will aid the long-term war effort, the reduction of the terminated population demands our critical attention. Whether to divide our forces in an attempt to acquire this new stratagem is a decision left to the strategic expertise of the Helldivers. So they're speaking to you, players out there. It's your decision. Whichever course of action is decided upon, coordination and unhesitating sacrifice will be key to success. Now, as soon as you move away from this latest Helldivers HQ dispatch and you get into the galactic map and you start to take a look at the X's and O's of this current major order, the red flags start popping up. So let me walk you through the 2 major red flags. The first has to do with the kill counts. Take a look at that. It says kill 100 million warriors, kill 45 million bile spewers. We have a 3-day major order, which started yesterday. We've already ticked off 1 complete day, so we have 48 hours to go. Take a look at the kills that we've already racked up. Of the 100 million warrior kills, we're at 31.6 million. That's not going to be an issue because warriors are consistent no matter what bug mission you drop into. They're all around the nest. They come out of the bug breaches. They're everywhere. They're common, and that's why we're already a third of the way through, and we have 2 days to go. The problem, though, is right above that. Kill 45 million bile spewers. I know so many of you out there are experts in bug behavior, and you know that bile spewers are not a guaranteed enemy type on certain missions. You can drop into whatever your chosen difficulty is, hit planetside, and never see a single bile spewer. You can then hit your next mission, and there's 100 of them running around in a bile spewer choo-choo train. They're just not consistent. That's why we're only 4.7 million into 45 million. That's going to be a major, major issue for us to try and rack up 45 million bile spewers. Now, second major issue, major red flag with this major order, is the fact that they want to split our diver forces and send us over to Bottsville to liberate 2 planets over there, Tarsh and Mastia. You can see me bouncing back and forth between these. Both of these are in the infancies of their liberation campaigns, and if we can liberate both of these, then we can get our hands on the orbital napalm barrage. But if we don't get it. So we're kind of in a catch-22. Either we finish up the Terminids, which is going to be a major task to get to rack up 45 million bile spewer kills, or we just say to hell with that, we hop over to Bottsville, we liberate those 2 planets, and we get the new strat. So which way are you going to lean? Let me know down in the comment section below. I mean, this one's a difficult one to figure out. I think a lot of people are also just kind of waiting on Tuesday. They're like, why even jump in right now with these underpowered weapons, with these underpowered strats, when I can just wait for Tuesday and get all my buff diver capabilities back? Oh, also, today's personal order is to kill 8 bile spewers for 15 medals. So they're trying to tempt you over there to the Terminid zones. I don't know which way this one's going to go, but I have a bad feeling about both of them. Moving along to the latest buff diver announcement, and this has to do with the Eruptor. Coming to us from the official Twitter account, they say the Eruptor went through some big changes too. Shrapnel is back. Remember when the Eruptor had shrapnel? What a beast weapon it was. Of course, the shrapnel it was using was from an orbital, but it was still a hell of a weapon. And then they decided to add it in the ricochet effect, and it started bouncing back and killing us, and so they couldn't quite figure it out. So what did they do? They just removed shrapnel. Anyways, they go on to say, we have replaced the original shrapnel with the frag grenade shrapnel to no longer instantly one-shot Helldivers, with the exception of the occasional unlucky headshot. Those headshots. The amount of shrapnel is also increased, and explosion radius increased by 33%. Hashtag buff divers. And of course, Johan and Nicholas are back with their little media splash. Let's take a look at this, and then I have several items to throw at you on the flip side.
My name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Malmborg.
Today we're diving into the patch notes of Helldivers 2. Nobody asked for, but we did it anyways. And that is the Eruptor.
Yes.
We brought the shrapnel back.
Yeah, we finally had time to do it properly. When it was introduced, it actually had the wrong shrapnel. It did over 9,000 in damage.
Yeah. It's over 9,000.
Now it won't do that much, but it still has a lot of shrapnel.
Did you remove the explosion?
No.
So it's explosion and shrapnel?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Vegeta, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000!
I just had to loop back around there and throw in that Dragon Ball Z reference. And of course, that is what Johan was alluding to when he said it's over 9,000. But there you go. Anyways, looks like the Eruptor's back on the menu. We're getting shrapnel back, although I wouldn't expect the OG Eruptor to return, because that initial Eruptor, which we all loved, I remember unlocking that thing and trying it out. It was absolutely insane. And the reason it was insane is because it was using an orbital level of shrapnel, which was doing immense amounts of damage, and that's why we all loved it. The minute that Arrowhead added in the ricochet effects, we started bouncing orbital levels of shrapnel off of enemy armor back at us. Of course, our armor is basically like a paper mache level of armor. We started instantly dying. There was complaints made. etc., etc. So what did Arrowhead do? They stepped in and completely removed shrapnel, and they buffed up the explosive, I guess, AoE of the Eruptor. It was never the same, but it looks like shrapnel is back, although I would caution divers out there, don't expect the Eruptor to just absolutely own everything like we had with the OG Eruptor. They also say down here the amount of shrapnel has also been increased and explosion radius increased by 33%. So will it be stronger than what we have now? Absolutely. Is it going to be OG Eruptor? No, don't count on that. But at least there's another option for us in terms of our primary coming back on Tuesday. I don't know exactly how we title this next section of the video. Could we call it the missing cover sheet shot heard round the Helldivers universe? Could we call it cover sheet gate? I honestly don't know, but what I do know is a lot of you very perceptive viewers out there yesterday saw Johan and Nicholas's Buff Diver broadcast concerning the Rocket Devastator changes and the gunship changes, and you also noticed that poor old Johan, the CCO, the Chief Creative Officer, was missing his back cover page, so he was exposing basically so many of the upcoming changes to anyone with a monitor strong enough to actually take a look at the text. I know this has been broken down, it's been analyzed, it's been examined. A lot of these have already started posting over to Reddit. I'm not so much on leaks over here, but I did take a look at some of the bullet points on his back cover page. There are things like the crossbow. Of course, we talked about the Eruptor today. The Defender, the Lib Pen, the Diligence, the Counter Sniper. I think the Torture was also on there. The Blitzer, which, by the way, I actually enjoy using. Things like the Peacemaker. And we've seen it, I believe, confirmed over on the official Helldivers Discord as well. I believe by Johan himself that the patch notes themselves are something like 7 or 8 pages long. But you gotta feel bad for the guy. I mean, they're trying their best to drip this hype out there. They're trying to build up this momentum leading up to the September 17th patch. And I honestly believe there's gonna be a lot of players who actually return to see just how much the game has changed, what the game actually felt like at launch, or at least close to it in terms of our weapon and strat strength. But here they are doing their best to get the momentum going, and there's all the patch notes, or at least a big portion of it, showing up there for the world to see. So yeah, interesting thing nonetheless, right? And on that note, let's next turn to your top 3 comments from my last Helldivers video. And by the way, if you want to see your name and comment up in lights, you first need to let it fly on this video. You got to drop me a comment, and who knows, it could happen for the next one. So in the top spot for this video is Midnight24435, who dropped this one. I think all these buffs are going to rub a particular developer on their team the wrong way, and I'm all for it. And by the way, Midnight, I appreciate the non-use of the developer's name, but it does seem quite contrary to the direction they were trying to take the game, or at least the perceived direction they were trying to take it, right? This sweaty mill sim, and that's not the game we bought. So I understand the sentiment on this one, and congrats on taking the top spot for today's video. Slotting in the 2 spot for this countdown is, and I'm going to butcher this name, 𝙏𝙃𝘼𝘏. BP9VF, who says, I love that when I ragdoll, my guy falls asleep for a second and doesn't try to get up. That's a big issue with this game, right? You get ragdolled. It's almost like your character is concussed and they don't know where they're at, which I guess would be kind of realistic. But yeah, you don't have time. You're locked out of the animation, so you can't pop a stem, and then you get hit with a second volley of rockets, or maybe the impaler comes in and slaps you silly again, and you're just ragdolled for another 100 meters. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of lockout animation I'd like to see maybe cut in half, or just completely cut out of the game. We need the ability to pop a stem, get on our feet, get the hell out of there, something. But I definitely feel your pain. And bringing up the caboose for this top 3 is Michael Alexander 7879, who says, I didn't mind a little bit of ragdolling, but when it happened so frequently that it felt like I went from playing a game to watching an episode of Gmod Idiot Box, that just wasn't fun. I feel your pain, Michael Alexander. The ragdolling in this game gets excessive. I play quite a bit of 8, 9, 10s, and when you've got maybe 2, maybe 3 impalers all slapping around you, and you're kind of caught in this rocky cavern and you're just getting bounced off the rocks, you can't get up, or you're taking on the bots. Maybe you're taking on a POI and all of a sudden a patrol shows up and you've got rocket devs in front, you've got rocket devs behind, and oh wait, here comes a bunch of gunships. So yeah, the ragdolling does get excessive. It's fun at first, but then it just doesn't become fun. So if they can tune it back a little bit, I'm all for that. And there we go. That's everything for today's video. So many topics covered. We've got the new major order. I'm definitely looking for some feedback on that. Which way you're going to lean on that one? We've got the Eruptor changes. We've got missing cover sheet gate. Wow, there's a lot there. And then, of course, we've got your feedback as well. And I'm going to be running that top 3 comments from now on. Wow. I'm really looking forward to next Tuesday. If anything, I want to see how the game is just going to perform. That's going to be my litmus test. I just want to get in there, start cooking some bots, start dropping some bugs, and let's see how those weapons and strats feel. Because right now, we haven't even seen anything to do with have they changed up the enemy levels. Maybe that'll come tomorrow. Maybe that's on Monday as far as their buff divers, but I got to see how the whole thing feels, and then I can give my overall impressions on it. But overall, I like what I'm seeing. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials, including all my links to all my sources, can be found down in the video description. A massive shout out to the now over 243,000 of you incredible ladies and gents from across the planet who have taken the plunge. You've hit subscribe and you tune in daily to support me and my content. It's incredible. We're making that last little push up to 250K, and if you haven't done so already, now's your chance to hit subscribe. Until the next one, this is Lieutenant BuzzLitebeer signing off.